the recording has started. So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining this call today. We are here today to talk a little bit about Viva systems and also the associate consultant position that we have available at our company. Before I jump into the presentation, I just quickly wanted to ask, is there anybody who knows a little bit about what Viva system is about and what we work for at Viva? And please don't be afraid to come off of mute and answer a couple of questions that I may ask during my presentation. Okay, well, I will take silence as a no. So I hope that you are going to be able to learn a little bit about what Viva does and what we are concentrating on here, and get to know a little bit our company and the different opportunities that we have available. So to start the presentation, let me just introduce myself and my colleague Mariona here. So my name is Olsha Yakaraki. You can hear that I am not Spanish, I am actually Hungarian, and I work out of Budapest, Hungary. My current role at Viva is team lead. I am leading one part of the consultant development program that we have here at Viva. My background is in biochemical engineering. I worked a little bit before joining Viva as a regulatory affairs manager at Procter & Gamble, and then I started my career as an associate consultant here at Viva, and now I am taking on the role of team lead. I also have today here Mariona. Mariona, would you like to introduce yourself in a couple of words?
Sure, thank you, Rishi. So yeah, hello everyone. My name is Mariona. I'm from Spain, from Barcelona. I studied biomedical engineering and started to work in Viva almost a year ago. And I'm an associate consultant at Viva, and before that, I did an internship in a hospital in the biophysics department, and that's my background. Yeah, I'm happy to be here with you all.
And then what we're going to be talking about today is I will introduce a little bit who Viva is, and then I will talk a little bit about the core industry business processes and how Viva's products actually fit these business processes. Then Mariona is going to talk about the day in the life of a CDP, so an associate consultant. And then I'll move on and introduce a couple of opportunities that we have for new grads within Viva. And then I will open up the floor for Q&As. But I do want to highlight that I'm more than happy to take any questions during the presentation as well. So if you have any questions, please come off of mute, ask me. I'm happy to provide you with any answers. So let's jump into the presentation. This is a slide that we always start our presentation with within Viva. We have a very strong vision and we have very strong values here at the company. Our vision is actually to build the industry cloud for life sciences so that we can help the life sciences industries to get their products, their drugs, the medical devices easier to the market and easier to patients, and faster as well to patients and to the market. Our values are do the right thing, customer success, employee success, and speed. These are very important values to us, and we try to live to them every single day. So do the right thing is a lot about our ethics and how we are making decisions. And customer success is making sure that we provide high quality, first-in-class products to our customers and make sure that they can work effectively and quickly with them. Employee success is very important to us because we feel that our greatest asset in the company is our employees. So we want to make sure that they are successful, they feel challenged every single day, and they enjoy their life as a Viva employee. And then our last value is speed. We think speed is very important. We can see that some major companies have difficulties in this sometimes, and we want to make sure that we don't go on that path, that we can always react in a very speedy manner to all things that are happening around us. And then a little bit of facts about Viva. So Viva was founded in 2007. It was founded as a startup and has grown since then. You can see it's still rather a young company, only 14 years old, but we have already accomplished quite a lot during these 14 years. Our headquarters is in San Francisco, is in the Bay Area, but we have offices around the world. So we have offices in North America, in Europe, in Asia, and in Latin America. If we focus on Europe, then we have some big offices here. We have a big office in Barcelona, for example, where Mariona is working. I am based out of our office in Budapest, Hungary, but we also have offices in Paris, in Oxford, in Frankfurt, and we have a new co-working space in Milan, and we are planning on opening an office also in Berlin. So that already kind of tells you that we are expanding and growing our company from day to day. We work with more than 900 customers. Our employees, we have more than 4,700 employees to date, but I think this slide is already outdated, and we have more than 5,000 employees. And that number is growing day to day. We are aiming to reach 10,000 customers, 10,000 employees by 2025. And we are helping our customers in more than 170 countries around the world. Here is what we are focusing on. So we are focusing on building innovative cloud-based solutions for life sciences. We also provide implementation services, so that is our services organization, to achieve customer success. And our software are helping pharma and biotech companies to get drugs approved fast in a highly regulated environment and in a more efficient way. And we also help them to get the drugs to doctors and patients more effectively. A recent change that has happened within the company is that we have converted from a public company to a public benefit corporation. And what that means to us, that now we have to live with our public benefit purpose. And we also have legal duty to balance the interest of some concerned stakeholders who are the customers, our employees, society, and also our shareholders. This change really didn't impact our day-to-day life, but we felt that this was the right thing to do, to be a public benefit corporation and to serve the benefit of the public. We also have a purpose, which is to help make the industry what we serve more productive and create high quality employment opportunities in our communities. So this is really how we want to also encourage other companies to convert into a PBC, because we feel this is the right path for all companies, and this is the right way to operate. And then you can see on the slide that we have a lot of customers. We put on a couple of their logos on here. We focus on both enterprise, so big size companies, and also the emerging companies. So those are the small and medium businesses. And I just want to ask you, do you see any logos of important companies that you might have already heard of that tells you something? Do you recognize any of the logos here?
Some of them.
Which one? Which one is calling you?
Like Bayer, Pfizer, Merck.
Yep. So yes, so you can see that we are working with some of the real industry leaders. For example, like the GSKs, the Pfizers, the Mercks of this world, the Bayers. So those are what we call the enterprise customers that we have. But we also have SMB, so small and medium-sized businesses that we are helping. And you can also, for example, spot there Moderna, who might ring a bell at the moment because of their COVID vaccine. So they're also amongst our customers. So these are the names that we're currently working with, but it is also growing every single day. We're expanding the market from day to day. Any questions that anybody has? Because I can see some have come off of mute. Okay. If no questions, then I will move on to our core industry business processes. So here I would like to talk a little bit about what is the core business that we're supporting. Just in advance of going into this part, I just want to mention that Viva has two main business areas. One is our commercial and the other one is our research and development business area. The one that I will focus on today is research and development, because that is the side of our business that both Mariona and myself come from. So this is what I'm going to be introducing to you today. So before we jump into the specifics, let's play a little bit. What are the odds? And I will give you a specific sentence, and then you will have to guess what is the odds that is converting to. So let's say, what is the chance of getting the flu in a specific year? What would you say? Is it 1 to 100 or 1 to 1,000 or 1 to 200? What would you say that the chances are of getting the flu within a normal year for a specific person? Any guesses? I am not hearing a lot of interaction today, so let me then just give you the number, but maybe that will help you then guess for the second one that I have. So it is 1 out of 10. So we have a chance, so every 1 person out of 10 has the chance of actually getting the flu in a specific year. Then if we talk about the chances of having your identity stolen, what would you say? What is the chance to get your identity stolen?
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. Oh, we're quite pessimistic here. So many people get their identity stolen?
Because of experience.
Oh my, okay. Okay, we are not so pessimist here. We said 1 out of 200 get their identity stolen. And then let's see the last one. What is the chance of a professional golfer hitting a hole in one? So getting the ball into the hole in one hit. Okay, if there are no guesses here, so the chances are 1 out of 2,500. So these are a couple of examples to understand what is the chance of specific things happening. And then if we concentrate on drugs and drug discovery and getting new drugs to the market and approved, then we can say that it is 1 to 10,000 for a new drug to get approved and to be marketed, which is the same as getting struck by a lightning. So it is very important to understand that there is a lot of work that goes into drug discovery, drug development for these drugs to be then marketed and to be on the market. And what do you think the 12 to 20 years would stand for if we think about drugs?
The time needed for medication approval.
Almost, that is one part of it. But we could say yes. So the actual
and its commercialization.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the actual average time to bring a new drug to the market. So it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to get one drug to the market. And this is why our industry is so important. And this would be the cost of getting, this would be the total cost of bringing a new drug to the market. So imagine the time and imagine the effort. Even if we just think about the fact that it is 1 out of 10,000 new drugs that will actually make it to the market, the amount of time which is then also spent on getting that to the market, and the amount of budget that is spent on getting that drug to the market. So you guys are biomedical engineers. Sorry, I'm the biochemical engineer. So I guess some of this is not going to be 100% news to you, but you might already know of the drug discovery and how the life cycle of a drug looks like. But the first phase of the drug discovery is when we talk about the actual discovery, where there are about let's say 10,000 compounds which are found. And the next phase is going to be what we call the preclinical. So this is the phase where we are testing the compounds that have been found on animals.
Excuse me, Orsolia. Excuse me. Laura, Laura, I think you are muting your mic, but there are some people like Javier, Nico, and everybody else who has their mic open. Please close the mic if you don't want to intervene, because we are hearing noises of Metro Ligero. So please make sure your mics are off if you don't want to talk. Elena, your mic is still on. And Javier, your mic is on. So, and Mariona and Orsolia, if you have the controls, because I don't have the permissions, but if you see that somebody is with the mic open all the time, you can mute it, because I think some of them, they are not realizing. I have contact them through the chat, but I don't think they are realizing that they have their mics open.
Okay,
so feel free to mute them if you can, and everybody else, please remember, if you don't want to intervene, if you don't want to answer a question, try to keep your mics mute so that we don't hear all the noises. And sorry for the intervention, Orsolia, go ahead.
No problem. Yeah, no problem. I don't see the participant list, so I won't be able to see who's not on mute. But Mariona, I gave you co-host responsibilities, so you should be able to mute anybody who you see that is off of mute.
Okay.
Thank you. So where were we? So the research and the development process of the drug discovery. So the first phase is the actual discovery, where we start with about 10,000 compounds, and then we enter the preclinical phase, where about 250 compounds make it. This is the phase where we are testing, still in lab conditions, so on animals and so on, the compounds that we have found that might be effective against a specific disease. Once we have conducted these, then it will be time to actually contact the health authorities. This is a time to put the IND, so the investigation new drug application, through to the health authorities for them to review it and give approval for the drug making company, so the pharma company, to then conduct clinical trials. Already at this phase, you can see that there is a good 3 to 6 years that has been spent on the, one second. Sorry, I don't know what happened to my screen. So already at this phase, there's a good 3 to 6 years that has been spent on the discovery and the development of this drug. Then the next phase that we enter is what we call the clinical trials. The clinical trials have 3 phases. Phase 1 is when we're testing the drug on healthy people to see what the impact of that of taking that compound and that drug into the system, into a healthy system. Then the next phase is going to be when we are testing it on a small number of patients. And then the last phase is going to be when the drug product is going to be tested on a bigger number of people. And this clinical trial phase, you can see that out of the 10,000 compounds that we started with, only 5 make it to the clinical trial stage, and only 5 of those compounds are going to be tested. And the amount of time that can be spent on these clinical trials is around 6 years, but it can even be more than 6 years. You can see here that it's a couple of months spent on phase 1, then we have months to 2 years in phase 2, and 1 to 4 years when we're testing and seeing the effects of a drug that is in the phase 3 clinical trials. At this moment, when we have conducted the clinical trials, that would be the moment to then submit a NDA. The NDA is the new drug application, and these 2 names, so IND and NDA, are on the American market. In Europe, the IND is called CTA and the NDA is called an MAA. These are abbreviations that we use with the health authorities. So after conducting the clinical trials and getting all the information that is needed to get approval to market a specific drug, that's when we can, that's when companies can then send the application for a new drug application, and that would be the approval process. So then they send this through to the health authorities, and that's when the regulatory review starts. But it doesn't mean that once you submit a NDA and all the information with it, or an MAA, that the next day the health authority is going to come and give you permission that yes, this drug is okay to be marketed. But it still takes a good 1.5 to 2 years time, where there is a communication which is ongoing there and back between the pharma company and the health authorities to make sure that that drug is really safe to use, is effective, and then that's when they give their approval. And that's where you can see that one drug is getting approved out of the 10,000 compounds that we have started with. And once this has been achieved, then the drug is ready to be marketed, is ready to be put on the market. It's available for patients to use. And that's when phase 4 starts. That means that the work of the pharma company is still not done. They still have to monitor any kind of adverse events, for example, that happen in patients, and they have to then report on these cases to the health authorities, so they can then reassess if there is any need to, for example, take the drug off of the market if it's still safe to use. So this is how the life of a drug actually looks like. And if we think about the manufacturing, so the manufacturing activities already start in the preclinical phase, because they have to put together the drug, they have to create the drug in the manufacturing environment. And then also we have generics coming in after the exclusivity of a drug is expired. So that means that new competitors are on the market. So the pharma company really has to achieve all the, or have to get back, let's say, all the money that they have invested on the research and development on the drug while it's on the market and the generics have not been introduced yet. Is this part clear for everybody?
Yes.
Perfect. So the reason why I talked about this part, the drug discovery, is because now I want to move on to the Viva's products, which are helping the companies to achieve this process in a very effective and fast way. So that's when we talk about our development cloud. These are the different domains that our development cloud is working with. So we have clinical data management, we have clinical operations, we have quality, regulatory, and drug safety. So our products are on these domains. So in the clinical data management, we help our customers to really use and be able to manage the data which are coming in with the different clinical trials and get the information out of them which they are looking for. Clinical operations are really there to help the management of the clinical trials to get, for example, all the necessary documentation, all the necessary approvals in order to be able to conduct the clinical trials. Then we have the quality products, which are helping really the manufacturing of different drugs. So making sure that everybody who's in the manufacturing site, who's doing anything on the manufacturing site, they have been trained and they know what they are doing. But also if there's any kind of events that are happening within or during the manufacturing of a drug, that they can manage that, take the necessary actions, and also make sure that they put new preventive actions in place in order to not allow those things to happen again. Then we have our regulatory products, which are helping the pharmaceutical companies to get their products into the market by giving them a platform which helps them manage the regulatory approvals of the drugs. So making sure all the documentations is within the regulatory system and then allowing them to submit their submission dossiers to the health authority and then manage also the interactions with the health authorities. But the regulatory doesn't stop at the time when you receive approval. If there is anything changing, even during the marketing of the product, there are information that needs to be submitted to the health authorities and make them aware of any changes that are happening with the drug. And then we have our drug safety domain, which is to manage all those adverse events that might be reported during the marketing and of the drug. And that is what our drug safety products are there to do, to help our customers in managing all of the adverse events. So this is kind of how we are helping our industry to manage everything that is happening during the research and the development of our products with our development cloud. So this was specifically the development cloud and the helping of the development of the drug, but we also have products which are helping the commercial part. So once the drug is on the market, to get them to patients, to get them to the doctors, and to inform the doctors about what our what the different products are there to do. Any questions here? And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is this Vault platform. So this is the platform that we have built all of our different products on within the R&D space. And since it's one platform, that also means that these different products look very much the same. They feel the same, which really makes it easier for our customers to use the different products that we may have. If they have multiple products from us, then when they log into something which is in clinical operation, but then they log into something which is in regulatory, they will get the same interface. They will understand how the system is working a lot easier. And we're also working on making sure that these different products are interconnected and that they are communicating with each other wherever necessary. And just to speak a little bit about why do the right thing is so important and how we try to live up to that value that we have. We also went into what we call the Ventilator Challenge UK during the COVID pandemic. We partnered with other companies like Siemens, Ford, Airbus, and Deloitte to make sure that we get to, we help them produce more than 13,000 ventilators in a very short amount of time. And what the companies were missing that were partnering here was a good software to ensure the quality of the manufacturing of these ventilators, and to make sure that they can produce these ventilators very, very fast. So what Viva has done, they have put together a team of 25 Vivans to work on this and on the quality management system that can then help this initiative. And within 10 days, while these people were working really day and night and also during weekends, they have achieved to get the system live to the initiative, which meant that they really could work in a very, very high quality system, and they could also make sure that the quality of the ventilators are very good and to get them manufactured in a very fast manner. So this is just one example of how we try to live up to our values to make sure that we are also serving the benefit of the people that are around us. And then let me move on to then the IT consulting part. Here I'm going to talk a little bit about what kind of engagements Viva has with our specific customers. So as I think for most of you, the IT consulting is quite a new topic. So this is what it would look like for a normal engagement with our customers. So this is the customer's journey at Viva. The first phase of our engagement would be the sales and pre-sales. So let's say that there is a company who understands that they are in need of, for example, a new quality system. So what would happen then? They would then start an engagement with companies like Viva, but not just Viva, other companies as well. They would ask them to put together demos of their products so that will make them understand what our products can really do and what are the different features that each of these products have. And they also start to discuss any licensing and strategy kind of agreements with these different companies. So this is our sales and pre-sales team that are then engaged with our customers. Once the customer has decided which of the products they would like to work with, then that's when the engagement with our services engagement team happens. So let's say they have selected our Vault quality system and they want to work with Vault quality. They want to look at implementing Vault quality within their company. So that's when the services engagement team comes into the picture. They will look at how complex, for example, the specific customer is. What are their processes? Are their processes already clear, or do we really need to discuss with them and understand what our product is going to help with within their company? And then scope a specific project. So identify who are going to be the roles and in what extent that are going to be needed in order to implement a specific product. So our Vault quality platform, for example, in this case, they would say that, let's say, in this product, we need a project manager. We also need what we call a solution architect, a configuration specialist, and a training lead. This group of people should be engaged for, let's say, 3 months, and with a capacity of 50%, so let's say 20 hours per week. So this is what the services engagement team puts together. And then our customer would have to then say if this makes sense to them or not. They have to sign our statement of work, which really specifies the engagement. And once this is in place, this is when what we call our professional services. So our technical consultants, IT consultants, can come into the picture. This is when they start their engagement with the customer. They start educating them about how our system works, and then also identify any kind of requirement that they may have. That means that we need to really tailor our software to the need of our client. And they build the final solution. Once they have built the solution, they then validate it, test it to make sure that everything is as per required. They then train the users to make sure that they know once they get into the system how to use it. And this is when professional services says goodbye to the customer, but we still continue our engagement with our customer with our post-implementation services. The post-implementation services is there to provide a continuous help in management of the system of our customer. They are extending the solution because even once a system goes live and the customer starts to use it, there still might be new requirements popping up because they understand more and more about the system. There are also new features which are coming out into the system that a customer might want to use in the long run. So that's kind of a long-term engagement that we have there. We want to make sure that our customers are continuously successful with our products. And then there is also a free service that we give to all of our customers, which is customer success and help from our product teams. So the customer success managers are there to always talk about if there are new features coming in within our product and and educate really our customers to kind of get to an answer whether they need a specific new feature, if they're using the product, the Viva products correctly or not. So this is kind of how the journey of a customer would go with Viva. So from sales to then services engagement, then implementation, post-implementation, and customer success. Was that understandable? Because I can understand that this might be new information for you guys.
No, yeah, perfectly.
Okay, thank you for that. So, and if we talk about the actual implementation, so I already mentioned in the previous slide that for example, the services engagement team would identify team roles such as project manager, solution architect, configuration specialist, and training lead in order to implement our solution. So what a project manager would do, it would specifically be a consultant or a senior consultant within Viva who would go onto the project as a project manager. And they would be responsible for managing timelines, budget, resources, like people actually, and they would be the escalation point for the client. So if the client sees that something is not going super well, then they can escalate it to the project manager, and then the project manager can handle that. Then we have the person who's called a solution architect. This again would be taken, this role would be taken by a consultant or a senior consultant within Viva. The solution architect is the role who owns the overall design of the solution. So they are the ones who make sure that everything that we configure is it's not going to harm their system in the long run. They guide the client through requirement workshops. So within requirement workshops, that's when we're trying to identify the specific requirements that our customers may have. And then they also work if there is any integration that is needed in a specific project. Then there's also the configuration specialist within a project team. So that would be the role of, for example, an associate consultant within Viva. And they would be the ones who are really helping the solution architect. They are there in any requirement workshops, for example. They are there to capture those specific requirements. And in collaboration with the solution architect, they translate these requirements into the solution, so into the configuration within the system. And they are the ones who then execute this configuration and then also test it. And then the training lead would be somebody who has been on the project as either a solution architect or configuration specialist, who really understand the final solution because they have worked on it for the past months, for example, to get to that solution. And they would just, they would be the ones who are running the training sessions where we are training the business users or the actual IT users who will then maintain the system in the long run. And this is the timeline, how a project implementation would work like. There is the planning and discovery phase, trying to understand what our softwares can do and explaining then it's a lot about educating our customers about our systems. Then there is the solution design and configuration. So once we have identified what are the requirements that a customer may have, then we work on meeting these requirements with specific solution design and configurations. This can be an iterative work in the solution design and configuration phase, where we have the requirements that are gathered. Some of these requirements get then into the solution and design phase so that we come up with a solution to that. Then we configure it and we test it. It's just a unit testing, so it's not the actual validated testing. And then we get confirmation for these solutions. And then we take another set of requirements and we do this until we achieve the final solution. And once we have achieved the final solution, that would be the time for the testing and validation. So this is where we test that all of the solutions that we have built, they actually meet the requirements that the customer has given us. And then there would be the phase of training and developing. So running those training sessions for a business manager and IT users or end users, and then actually deploying our solution into their live system. And then,
excuse me, Ursula.
Yes.
I have a question. As you are in so many locations right now, when working on a project, Do you normally work with persons working at different cities or countries?
Yes, definitely, we do. We have international teams working on all of our implementations. So if somebody is based in the Barcelona office, it doesn't mean that they would only be working with people who are in the Barcelona office. I don't say that it doesn't happen, because it does. It really depends on who are available to be put on a new project. They just finished another project, they would be available to take on a new one. And that's how we pair people up. We also look at, of course, experience to make sure that we provide the right support for our customer as well. But it is definitely an international group of people who are working together, especially because we have people who are actually not based in the office, but they are 100% remote and working from home every single day. Any other questions?
Perfect. Thanks.
No problem. Any other questions around this? Okay, if not, then the next slide is showing you a couple of people and a couple of journeys into tech consulting. So tech consulting is not something we specifically see people studying in universities. It's not a course that can be taken. So we have people with a very diverse background coming into our company and start their work and career as tech consultants and IT consultants. One example here on the top, we have Esther. She's in the Budapest office and she has a background in international business and also pharmacy. So she studied two things in university and then she worked as an intern in a pharmacy, but then she realized that it might not be something that is for her. She was looking for different kind of interactions that she can have with customers. And that's why she started working as an associate consultant within our team a year and a half ago. Then, for example, we have Marco here, who's actually coming with an international management background, so nothing to do with R&D, no scientific background, but he also was interested in the pharma industry, in IT, and he has really good interpersonal skills. So he has also applied to Viva as an associate consultant, and he started working as an associate consultant within our R&D organization 2 years ago. And then recently he was promoted to consultant, and he went on to join the tech practice. And the medtech practice are those people who are working with biotech companies and companies who are focusing on medical devices. And then lastly, you can see me here. So I studied biochemical engineering in university. Then my experience was in research labs. And then I also had experience working as a regulatory affairs manager at P&G. I understood the life of the regulatory affairs managers. And I really, I had the chance there to understand what regulatory affairs is about, but I also noticed on myself that it's not something that I want to do day to day. I'm interested in regulatory affairs, but I don't necessarily want to work with it as a regulatory affairs manager. And I also noticed that there are gaps in terms of the systems that regulatory affairs is using. There are multiple systems that could be introduced as one and could be communicating. And that's when I was introduced to the Viva Vault. And I thought that that's exactly what regulatory affairs needs. And that's why I have applied to Viva. And I worked as an associate consultant for 2.5 years before being promoted to consultant. Within Viva, I always focused on the R&D side of the business and more specifically on our regulatory affairs products. And then after working as a consultant on smaller and bigger engagements, I was more interested in working with people. And that's why I applied to be a team lead in the consultant development program. And for the past half a year, I have been spending my life at Viva as a team lead for this program. So these are just examples of how journeys look like to get into tech consulting. And if we look at the different degrees that we hired in 2020 with, so you can see that one big thing is biomedical engineer. We have a lot of biochemical engineers coming into Viva and starting their life as associate consultants, but we have people with very diverse backgrounds. We actually have applied languages, people who studied French and English, who are still interested in technology, and they come and work for us. We also have pharmacists. We have people with international business background, with management engineering, and then another one is IT engineering. And the business informatics systems, that's another one which is quite interesting, and they have quite a good background for us. But definitely everything that is scientific, people who like technology and who like to work with systems, those are the type of people that we're looking to hire into our company. Any questions up until here? If not, I will give the floor to Mariona. And Mariona, if that works for you, I can still share my screen and then you can just talk to your slides.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, this next part of the session, a day in the life of a CDP, the idea is for you to understand what we do, our day-to-day as associate consultants, and why biomedical engineers, where do they fit in all of this? So yeah, thank you. So when you start in Viva, you start with probably with some other colleagues that are starting with you. You have the onboarding, start getting to know the company, getting to know the people, and doing some training. And then from here onwards, you are staffed in a project or a couple of them, and you need to start working and getting responsibilities, facing customers, and getting real hands-on experience with a project. And yeah, at the very beginning, it might be scareful, but it's like all the team that you work with, which might be a small team or a bigger one, depending on the customer, is there to support you and will not put you in front of the customer from the very beginning. It's like you get more experience while you are working on the project and while you are changing projects and completing them. And at the end, you gain confidence and you end up being the one talking with the customers and discussing processes and discussing configurations. So you are staffed in a project, which could be a huge one. The first project I was involved in was an enterprise one, which is a big one with a big team, Viva team, but also a big team on the customer side. So we had a lot of interaction every day with them, many calls. Half of the job was handling calls and managing calls, and the other half was making sure that the configurations needed of the software were there. So you always start as a configuration specialist, which means that as we've already seen, you are the one making the configurations in the system. And then maybe you are the one training the customers, but you are not the one leading the workshops. This is where a CDP, where an associate consultant starts in. And then once you start getting more and more experience, you have opportunities to start leading some workshops, start leading some conversations with customers. And it's up to you, and it's not, you don't have tight timelines to do that. You have time to explore yourself, what you need to do, how you need to learn. And once you feel ready, you can start getting more and more responsibilities. So yeah, this is how we work. We work in projects, half of the day, more or less, depending on the project. It's customer calls with your team to discuss how you do some configurations, how you solve some issues. And the other half of the day would be you and yourself and your computer working, making the configurations needed, learning about the software and how complex configurations can be done and how the simpler ones are handled. And this, of course, as we've said, depends on the customer. If you are in an enterprise project, this means that you will need to make some custom and complex configurations, and you will need to learn on this. But if you are in a small one, maybe you do not need to do that much configuration, but you need to understand and make sure that the customers can use the system how it is now without making that configuration because of the limitations on their budget. So it's also a challenge. Both of them are challenges, and it's fine because as associate consultants, you have the opportunity to work in both kind of projects. So you learn the different project methodologies and how to manage and the differences between different customers. So this is what we do. Then, of course, outside of projects and customer work, we also can start internal contributions with our department or within our department or outside of it. If you identify an enhancement that could be added, then you can start discussions with even the product team, with the developers. So you can take internal contributions, and then of course you have you have to attend other sessions with your CDPs in which some speakers, some other consultants, senior consultants, or some other people within the company will come and talk about their experience so far, what they do, so that we, as associate consultants, know what's happening in Viva and which options we have after completing this program, this CDP program. It's not that we need to become a consultant. We have the opportunity to decide what and to choose and look for what we really want to do then. So yeah, the day-to-day of an associate consultant is mainly customer and project work, then some time of personal learning, professional learning, sometimes to invest working on getting the knowledge and the business knowledge that's needed, or invested on training. And then we have time for internal contributions and calls with our team and network. So about the culture, we've already talked about it. Something that I value a lot about Viva is that when I started just in the CDP now, in the program, we are quite a lot. We are all from all over the world. Even if I am based in Barcelona, I started there and I went to the office and I saw that almost no one was from Barcelona. We were quite a few, but not even close half of them were from Barcelona. And I think that's something great because we can learn a lot from one another. And of course, if we come from different backgrounds, that's even better. Because one may be better to understand the industry, while the other must be a genius in the IT and the software development, and is the one to ask for if you need help on a configuration. So this is to say that the CDP network is I think it's a very appreciated network. We all take care one to another, and we have managers supporting us every day if we need help on something. For example, if you are in a project that is requiring a lot of work and you do not have the time to do everything, and you're starting to feel like you need help, first your manager will be there to help you. But then, of course, if you reach out to the CDP network, for sure there will be someone jumping in and providing you with her or his time to help you, and that's something that must be valued. And then outside of the CDP, of course, the Viva network, we are quite a lot, and it's difficult to know everyone that is working there, but it's part of our culture that if everyone will be open to help you, if you need, everyone will be open to reach out to you. And if you want to ask something to someone which is a senior consultant, who is a senior consultant, or even a senior lead, team lead, and because you want to learn more about his role or you want to learn more about him, everyone is willing to talk to you and to help you. And yeah, that's the idea, and that's our culture. We are very good team workers, and we take care one of the others. So yeah, in terms of skills, of course, as IT consultants, we need to have some technical skills and then some soft skills. Technical skills, software notions, it's not a must. You do not need to be the best coding, because you will not be coding every day. But having these software notions will help you understand the software and will help you with the configurations. Then, of course, pharma industry knowledge. It's fair if you feel that you don't have a lot of pharma industry knowledge right now. I didn't either when I started, but it's something that it's very important in Viva, because we work in this industry. We need to understand the processes. But it's something that while you work and while you are in a project, you learn quite quickly, and you learn a lot, and there's a lot to learn. But it's something that the more experience you get, the better, and the more knowledge that you get from the industry. Then project management, that's what we were saying. Each project is different. There are many different methodologies and different ways of handling a project, and this is something that during your work in Viva, you will learn a lot. You will learn about timelines and the different parts of a project, how to differentiate one project with another, which is the best methodology for a specific customer. And this is the work of a project manager, of course, which you may not be, but this is knowledge that you get from working in projects. Yeah, and in terms of soft skills, that's quite clear. We are facing customers, so we need to be good at interpersonal skills, communication skills, and of course, this is something that you can improve a lot with experience. The first call, you might be nervous, you may not want to interact a lot, and then at the end you will talk to a customer and you will feel confident, and you will feel confident to say your ideas and to demo what you've done. So this is important in Viva as an IT consultant. And then of course, problem solving and time management. You may be working on several projects at the same time. So it's important to be good on managing your tasks, your time, on making sure that you can do what you have to do. And if you cannot, then asking for help, which is fine and it's fair. And make sure that you work with your team and not individually, because we are all connected. So sorry, Orshi, can you go to the next slide, please? So this is what we do. Then we'll open the floor for questions if you have any, or jump in if you want to ask me something. But here in this slide, what I wanted to highlight is why a biomedical engineer? What can we do in Viva as a Viva consultant? What having this degree helps us with? So, and I've highlighted some points, and I'm sure there might be many more. But yeah, so as a biomedical engineer, we've learned from many areas. We've learned from medicine, IT, we've learned from maths, physics, and we've learned how to interconnect all of them. And this is something that in Viva we also do. We are working in the software. It's a software company, so we are working with the software, but we need to understand that this software has been built to support a process behind, and a business process behind it. It's not like this because an engineer did it and wanted this way. It's like this because there's a business need behind it. And this business need behind it, this pharma industry whole history, is what we can understand, and then understand why the software has been built like this and how we can improve the software. Second, latest biomedical technologies. Of course, biomedical engineers, we are interested in latest technologies. That's what we like. And in Viva, yeah, you will not hear about 3D printing of tissues in Viva. That's not what we do. But we are also working to introduce the latest technologies to our software. You will start hearing artificial intelligence being introduced in our products, and some fancy ideas that will come to us. So if you're interested in this, you can also get knowledge there and learn what we are doing in Viva related to these latest technologies. And then the third one, pharma industry knowledge, that's already commented. So having this knowledge, even if it's not a wide knowledge, but understanding how the drug, for example, how a clinical trial goes, or how this drug discovery phase and drug development process is conducted, gives us value as a Viva consultant, because it helps us lead and guide customers and be there in the conversations and feel like we understand what they are talking about, not only the system, but we understand the process they are discussing there. Then the first point, technological potentialities versus compliance in health industry. I think this is something that biomedical engineers are good at. So sometimes when you talk to an engineer and they think of these new technologies and what could be done and what will be done in the future, our imagination could be as far as we want, but we need to understand that we are in a sector that has many limitations. We need to be compliant. We cannot, for example, just to give you an example, if we are thinking of artificial intelligence, we know that in the healthcare systems, in the biomedical industry, we have some limitations. We have some data protection that prevents us from creating huge algorithms. We have some limitations and constraints in terms of regulations. So this in Viva, converting it into Viva, this helps us to discern which are the enhancements that could be done to a platform and which are things that maybe are nonsense, considering the background behind it in terms of industry and processes. And then the last three are quite more technical or in terms of skills. Having this software or coding notions will help us in Viva to understand how the product is built, how the developers have worked to build this product that we are working on. Then I think that biomedical engineers have a great capacity of solving problems, solving issues, analysis and synthesis. And I think that we are good on adapting because we've learned from many different places. we've been involved in many different conversations. And in Viva, we are working in a very dynamic place. So meaning that there are always new things happening. We need to be fast learners. That's very important. We need to be able to manage our time efficiently and to work hard, which are things that biomedical engineers in general, overall speaking, have. So yeah, let's jump to the last one. And in this slide, it's just I drafted a couple of questions to ask yourselves to see whether Viva is a good fit for you, or if you are a good fit for Viva. So which areas of the degree were more appealing to me? If you're interested, if now that you are doing the degree, what you like is biology or working in a lab, research, then maybe Viva is not what you're looking for. Am I ready for a long-term job? So in Viva, they are investing on you for you to grow up in the company, to learn and to give back all what they've been giving to you. We are not looking for a 6 months stay. So am I ready to start in a company and grow here and think of the future in this company? What am I looking for in a company here is just thinking a little bit about the culture, and not just the culture, but do I want to work? Do I like teamwork? Do I like working with some other colleagues, or do I prefer working alone with my computer and developing some coding or whatever? So what am I looking for in a company, or in the culture and the people in that company? Do I enjoy spending time working with a computer? That's important. At the end, we are working with a computer all day, so you must like this. You must enjoy playing with the computer, and even if you are having customer calls, most of them will be through a computer, because you may have a customer even in the US, or a customer in Denmark, and most of the call will be held through the computer. So do I like it? Is this what I'm looking for? And then, do I enjoy teamwork and customer-facing jobs? Of course, you need to be a person that enjoys this interaction with people. So it's a technical job, but at the end, you are a consultant. So you need to like both of the parts, so the technical and the soft communication and interaction with people. And the last one, am I willing to put effort and hard work to achieve personal and professional goals? And I think this is very important, and I don't have experience in other companies, but I'm sure this might be applicable to many others. In Viva, you will need to work hard, you will need to put effort, you will need to give the best, because you are surrounded by a huge network of talented and skillful people. And this is something that I can say for sure. When I started and I met everyone in the company, I was just amazed. They were super skillful and great. And I think this is good, because it pushes you to do your best and to work hard to achieve not only professional goals, which of course, but also personal goals. So if maybe you are not very good at customer facing, and it's a goal for you to lead a workshop and be the one leading a 2 hours workshop with the customer, and the one the customers ask the questions to, that's a personal work that you need to work on, and you will need to work hard to make sure that you can go there. So yeah, just to say that you need to work hard in Viva, and put a lot of effort to achieve your personal and your goals. So yeah, I think we are on top of the time, so maybe let's continue.
Yes, and that's something that I wanted to ask. So we are over time. So is it okay for me to continue, or should I wrap up the session now? Laura, can you help with that?
Yes, I think if you can continue quickly, because
Okay, I'll try to wrap up quicker than until now.
The students have the possibility to stay maybe 10 minutes more.
Okay, I will be quick in the last one. So in the last part of the presentation, what we wanted to introduce is Generation Viva. And Generation Viva has been founded in Viva in order to build the foundation for Viva's future by recruiting top university talents and developing their careers in a supportive environment. And we have multiple programs within the Generation Viva initiative. One is what we have already been talking about, the consultant development program. And this is why I really quickly wanted to talk about Generation Viva as well. And Generation Viva as an umbrella program has its own values as well, which is learn by doing, developing the person, and of course, having fun. We are recruiting fresh graduates, so relatively young people. So it's also very important that while we're learning and growing professionally, to also have fun. And some of the programs within the Generation Viva initiative is the consultant development program. And we also have engineering development program, which is mostly focusing on North America. But in Europe, the consultant development program is also very, very big. We have around 80 associate consultants within the CDP program, focusing on both commercial and R&D side of things. And what we are doing within this program is, of course, recruiting top talents, then onboarding them into Viva, into the company, and then developing them professionally. And the way that we are developing people professionally is by focusing on the key pillars, the key CDP pillars, which is consulting skills, product knowledge, industry skills, and technical skills. But I think Mariona has already covered it really well, what she's focusing on and what she's doing on a day-to-day basis. So making sure that she's developing those soft skills that are needed to become a successful consultant, understanding what our product is about, understanding the industry, and then also using some of the technical skills that you might already have as biomedical engineers, but also building them further in terms of Viva tech tools that we're using. So by the end of a CDP life, so once somebody is promoting from associate consultant to consultant, that's when they are departing the CDP program. The skills that you would be acquiring are consulting skills, technical skills, also a little bit of analytical skills, industry knowledge, Viva product knowledge, and soft skills. And a little bit to understand whether consulting is for you or not. So the different things about consulting, which is important to know, that consulting is quite a dynamic work. Everything is changing around you. You have to have an adaptive mindset. You're focusing on one project at a time, but that after a couple of months, you might be focusing on a new project, which also means working with new people. And also within a project, there are different phases that I've already talked about. So you might be conducting workshops 1 week, but the next week you might be focusing 100% on configuration, and then you might be doing testing and then a little bit of deployment. So it's not the same. There is no 2 days that are exactly the same within the life of a consultant. Then you also have to make sense of difficult concepts, understand the requirements that the customers are giving you, and then translate that into configuration solutions. Then you also have to be willing to do human interactions. We are talking with our customers on a day-to-day basis. We need to also develop these core soft skills that are needed to become consultants. And then also it's a good balance of technical and interactive work. So we get to work with softwares, but at the same time, we get to work with people, which I think is a very unique combination. It's something that might fit you. You just need to understand whether that's something that you're looking for. There are growth opportunities within Viva. And then also the last point is just to go back to this dynamic work that we're facing here. So there are no 2 clients that are exactly the same, which also makes all projects a little bit more unique and exciting, I would say, and challenging. And when we are talking about the consultant development program, everybody is working in the program as associate consultant, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they need to then promote into consultant and continue on the consulting path. But there are other opportunities as well in Viva. People can choose to go down a sales path, which is working towards becoming an account executive and really being part of that sales team, or also working as a solution consultant, which is the pre-sales team. Those are the people who are demoing our products to our prospective clients, for example. But there's also opportunity to become, for example, product manager in the long term. So associate consultant is a good starting point. It's a way to also understand what Viva is about, what are the different opportunities, explore the different opportunities, and decide on the right career path for you. And then what we're looking for in you is to have a technical aptitude, to be interested in technology, to have business acumen, understand the business, want to understand the business. You want to work hard and learn from smart people. Mariona also said that people come with great talent and they are really developing fast. And we want to make sure that everybody who's joining us has that mindset. We're looking for people who can pick up things quickly. We put people on projects really, really quickly, and they have to start working with customers quite early on in their careers at Viva. We're looking for a positive attitude, to always have a smile on your face when you come to work. And then if you're looking for a company that will invest in you, and then in return ask for you to contribute in a longer term. So that is kind of what we're looking for in the people who we're hiring as associate consultants. And then a little bit of information, next steps. So if you're interested in anything that we've said here today kind of spark your interest, then we're continuously hiring. We have people joining us throughout the year. We have different start groups. And if you want more information, I put my email address also here. And then if you want to learn more about Viva and Generation Viva, we have a LinkedIn site where we're posting articles and interesting topics. So please feel free to follow our LinkedIn profile as well if you want to learn more about Generation Viva and the different opportunities that are available here. And that was it. So I tried to be very quick to make sure that we finish in a timely manner. If you still have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer maybe max one or two. And if not, then feel free to reach out to me or any of my colleagues.
I really have a question.
Shoot.
First of all, thank you for your presentation, both of you. Everything was very clear and everything, but I'm trying to be short about my question. The thing is, currently I'm finishing my studies on January 2023, sorry, and I know that applying right now for your associate consulting application job is not like affordable for me. I can't because
you're still quite early on in your studies, yeah.
Yeah. So even if I already applied, am I possible to get like an internship on a technical position? I saw you're looking for software engineers right now for internships, but
so
I don't
the
know
software
if biomedical engineers entering that.
So the software internships, the software developer internships are in the US. In Europe, we have software engineers as well, but not internships at the moment. What I would say is, if you're interested in the associate consultant position, then it's more around when you get closer to graduation. That would be the time to apply to Viva. You can start your application like a couple of months earlier. We have quite a long recruitment process with about 4 stages for interview rounds. So it's good to start early on, and then you can join in the next start group, which is available or which suits your interest and your availability. And in terms of software engineering, I'm not the best person to ask about. I don't know what are the current open positions for that within Europe, to be honest.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. Any other last minute questions?
Yes, we have another question from Pablo Blasco in the chat. The question is, hi, first of all, thank you very much for this presentation. I'm finishing this year my degree studies in biomedical engineering, and I would like to ask about the dates for the application for your open position calls. I have seen the... Yes?
So the application is open throughout the year, so anybody can apply at any given moment. And we have start groups that are starting at Viva at different parts of the year. So the first group is in January. That might be a bit too soon, but then we have an April start group, a June start group, August, and then somewhere in the fall, like October, November. So that we always have people who are applying. We have continuous applications coming in, and then whenever somebody gets through the application, then we are hiring them and starting them off with the next available start group.
Okay, I think he's interested in offers in US. He say, when would you recommend us to apply if we are graduating in June 2022? Is there any specific position we should apply for with our profiles?
So the option is definitely the associate consultant position that's also available in the US. And then applications should happen I would definitely say start your application earlier on. So if you would want to start in June, then all the approvals need to happen so that somebody is actually approved to join Viva will need to be done 3 weeks prior to the start date, and also kind of count with around, I would say, 8 weeks of interview process. So I would give it a good 3-4 months of application prior to when you want to start. But one of the first questions that are asked in the screen interview, which is the first round of interview, is when you would be available to start. So you can start the application process earlier on, and then make sure that you communicate that you would be available to start, for example, on this date.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, well then I would like to thank everybody for your attention. I hope you enjoyed the session and you were able to learn some things about Viva and the IT consultant position, and wish you the best of luck in your careers at the university and also after the university.
Okay, and thank you very much, Ursula and Mariona, for the presentation. It was very interesting, and we have been able to get to know you better and learn about all the opportunities you offer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.